Hello friends, thanks God. We are here bringing you more content on our channel. In this space, we will learn how to connect ChatGPT to an MCP server. We will review what an MCP is, the roles of the MCP client and the MCP server, and how to create an MCP server using NAN. Additionally, we will see how to add tools to our MCP server to connect it to a Supabase database, and finally, how to build a dashboard that displays information from that database. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notifications bell so YouTube alerts you whenever we upload new content. If you enjoyed the video or found it helpful, please help us with a like, drop a comment below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. To connect ChatGPT with an MCP server, first we must have an MCP server. This MCP server will be created in NAN. Let's try to remember some important concepts, starting by MCP protocol. MCP is a standard that defines how to describe tools in JSON so that an AI, such as ChatGPT, can understand them, choose between them, and use them without the developer having to train it or explain each API individually. So once we create the MCP server here and add tools to that particular MCP server, when ChatGPT gets connected to this MCP server, ChatGPT will see that JSON with a set of tools along with the details of each tool, like the name of the tool, the parameters, and so on. In regards to MCP client, ChatGPT acts as a MCP client, meaning it receives a list of tools from the server in a standard MCP JSON format, automatically understands those tools, decides which tool to use based on user request, calls the selected tool with the correct parameters. To create an MCP server, we add the node MCP server trigger that can be found by clicking in this icon. From the list, we will write MCP server trigger and double click in the first option appearing. Rename this particular path. Instead of having this, we will write something like MCP server. Close this window. Provide a name to this workflow. Instead of my workflow file, we will set NAN MCP server, enter, and automatically the changes will be saved. Now it is time to add the tools. To add the tools, we locate this icon. Once we click on this, in the right side, we will see some recommended tools. The plan is to add a set of tools that get connected to a Supabase database. For this connection, we have a couple of options. The first one is to add this HTTP request tool appearing in the list, or to add a Supabase node, a node like this one. For our particular case, we cannot work with this Supabase node because we have some restrictions. For example, we cannot use limit, it does not contain an order, among other restrictions. Instead of that, it is much better to work with a HTTP request tool that we saw earlier. To do this very quick, I will copy a previous tool that I had already created, and I will explain in a moment the parameters that we need to set in the tool. I have already pasted the tool, connect this tool to the node MCP server trigger, save changes, double click over this node. How we want to read information from the database, we will use the get method. In the URL, we will change the name of the table along with the project ID. The name of the table that we will be reading has this name, products. So we remove this letter, and the project ID can be retrieved by going to project settings. In this view, you will find the project ID. Copy this project ID, go back to NAN, and I will set instead of this. Don't worry, I will share the whole flow. The indications will be in the comments. We won't use any kind of authentication. We will enable send query parameters. In a specify query parameters, we will choose using fields below. Here in this section, we will add 3 parameters. With this parameter, basically, we are telling that we would like to retrieve the whole details of the most expensive product. With this one, we are indicating that we would like to order the products in the list or in the table products by sale price. We need to rename this. And finally, we will add a limit. What is the reason that we add this limit? Because in that way, we will retrieve the most expensive product, but just one. Let's rename this node. We may forget doing later, so it is better to do it now. Here we can set something like a most expensive product and hit enter. Go down, enable same headers because we will need an API key along with the authorization. The API key value will be exactly the same value that we will be using for authorization, but the only difference in authorization is that we need to add better. Where we can retrieve that value in Supabase. To get this value, go back to Supabase, Project Settings, API Keys, click in the tab Legacy and on Service Role API Keys. In this section, identify Service Role, Secret, then click and reveal. Once you click and reveal, a copy button will appear. Click and copy. Go back to NAN, set here in the value, and do the same thing for the value, but in this section. Try to keep in mind that you need to include better. To check it out if this node is working fine, click and execute a step. And yes, of course, we are retrieving the most expensive product. We can confirm this by going to our Supabase table, products. Once we are here, go to table editor, click in this drop down in the column sale price, select sort descending, and we will see the most expensive product. If we go back to NAN, we have already created the MCP server, attached a tool to this MCP server to calculate the most expensive product. We will save the changes, and with this MCP server, which already contains one tool, we are able to connect this MCP server with ChatGPT. But we will do that in the next video. For the moment, we finish here. Thanks very much for joining us.